What's up guys, RussLyman here. Welcome back to another DIY. I'm going to be customizing this Nintendo here into a Galaxy themed NES. Should turn out pretty awesome. I'm going to try some new paint techniques, so come along for the ride.
Here we go! Russ, what you doing? Russ, what you doing? Russ, what you doing? Let's find out!
Well, first things first, we have to take apart the NES and disassemble it. Now, who doesn't enjoy taking apart an NES? It's probably about 16 screws and maybe about 10 minutes of work. Once I get it all apart though, then I'm going to organize all the screws and the pieces that I won't be painting, so everything's organized and put aside. And the rest of the stuff we're going to be washing, so a little bit of warm water and dish soap. Get some suds right in there. We're going to scrub with a brush right here so I can get all the grime out of this old retro NES. Now, once we're all cleaned up, I'm going to be taking it to the paint booth, and I want to make sure the pieces don't move around while I'm painting them. So I'm using a little bit of duct tape right here, putting the start and reset buttons, and a few odds and ends right here. And I try to categorize it in color. This way, each little cardboard sheet is a different color. And I need to mask off all the writing on the bottom of the NES here, those stickers. And I'm just going to go back with an X-Acto blade to trim up my tape so it's an exact match. Now I'll be cleaning everything with this solution here. It's 50% rubbing alcohol and water. I'm using a microfiber right here just to wipe it down to make sure it's good to go for paint. We're taking it in the back to my little paint booth. Here are all the colors that I'm going to be using. They are a paint primer by RussLyman. I definitely love using these here because it saves a step since it's paint and primer together. But quick run to the dollar store. I'm going to be adding a planet on this, so I need something to mask off the planet shape. So I need like a bowl. So I'm looking at Tupperware. Found these here. I think these are going to do good. So we'll grab these and try them out. Alright, we got everything out here ready to be painted. I got my colors and all the supplies and, of course, my paint mask. So let's get to it. So what I'm doing here is just trying to see how big of a planet that I want it on the top of the NES, whether I can fit two. So I'm just trying to decide which one fits a little bit better. So I'm just spraying some black here so I know the outline of the planet. We're going to be making the planet red. So that circle right there, I have to make sure I cover completely in red. And I'm going to add a second color as well over the top of that. Just some gray right here, a little bit of light gray just to add a little bit of depth to it for the next technique. And here's the technique. We're just going to use a plastic bag. We're going to crinkle it up a little bit and pat it on top of the paint. It's a little bit wet still, so then when we pull it away, it's going to pull some of that paint away, giving it texture similar to like a planet there. So I'm just dabbing it just to get a little more texture in there, and then once I'm happy, I put the canister back over it to protect it, and we're spraying the rest of the NES black and a little highlight with red right there. Of course, you gotta add some stars. So I sprayed a bunch of white paint into my fingertips and I'm using this flicking technique. It honestly hurt my fingers quite a bit. Let's get the reveal. Okay, there's the planet right there. Red and that little bit of gray, so it pops out. Now I'm gonna move on to the back of the NES. I'm just going to put a tiny planet right there and see how that turns out. Same technique as well. All right, it's been a few days to really let this cure up in here. We're going to do some wet sanding and do a couple more coats of clear coat. Alright, so at this point I still need to paint on the inside of the door and the inside of the NES right there since all the paint's dry. So I'm just going to mask it off and we're going to get that matching real quick. So back to the paint booth, a little bit of the black paint, and then we're going to add a little bit of red dusting and some stars, of course. So this time I wanted to try a different technique. I went inside and grabbed a paintbrush. I think this is going to look a little bit better. Sprayed some paint on there. We're going to flick the bristles of the brush to get some stars. That saves my fingertips from flipping. Yeah, this is working great. Just loading it back up with some paint, and I'm going back in just to add a little bit more stars on the front of the NES right there. This way you get smaller ones and everything. I really enjoyed this technique. So I wanted to add the Nintendo Entertainment System on the front of the system. So I'm cutting it out on my Silhouette Cameo machine with some red vinyl right here. And I got the exact dimensions, and I'm just going to use a little bit of transfer tape. Now this transfer tape wasn't the best. I picked up some new transfer tape after this, but it did the job. It got the vinyl on there, and then I'm going to line it up best I can to where it goes on the door. And once it's on there, we're going to add some more clear coat to seal in all the vinyl. As you saw, I had on the power and the reset as well. Now this is definitely some small vinyl, so it took some patience to make sure all those letters stuck on there. So I had to get in there with a little tool to make sure they all stuck, but looks awesome, really sets it off. Alright, we're headed back into the tent. It's been a few days since I painted them and wet sanded them. I picked up this 2K clear. This is going to make it super glossy. These are super expensive though. They're about $30 a can, and you also have to have proper respiration. Some gloves, so I got that right here. But here's what we're looking at right now. I have the vinyl decals over the power and reset right there. And I also added the Nintendo on the controller. So it's looking pretty sweet. And then also on the NES, you got your Nintendo Entertainment System. So we're going to add the clear coat over this, so this way it's smooth to the touch there. So let's get to it. And I let the clear coat dry for about 2 days before I really wanted to handle it. So we're on to the final assembly of everything. This is the exciting part. Look how awesome those power and reset buttons look. Really sets it off adding the vinyl decals to this. So I'm glad I took the extra step to do that. Let's get this bad boy back together, test it, and I'll show you the final results. Guys, that's it. Here's the finished product, the Galaxy themed NES. It came out so sweet. I love the gloss on it, so shiny, and the planet on the top sets it off as well. This was certainly a fun build to put together. I was glad my friend reached out and wanted this theme. I never did anything like this quite before, so I was trying different techniques with the spray paint can and using paint brushes to kind of get that splattered star effect, and it all turned together awesome. If you guys missed the controller build, I have a full video of me putting this controller together that's paired with the system. So now it's a bundle deal and I can't wait to get it to my buddy. Yeah, the gloss on this is certainly a nice high gloss, but that's what you get when you're using the more expensive clear coat. Those are about $30 a can for the clear coat, and you only have a day or so to use it up before it hardens in the can. So usually I try to set up a couple projects lined up so this way I can clear coat a bunch of things and not let the product go to waste. And if you guys are curious about getting a custom order done, you can reach out to me on Instagram or my Etsy page. Of course, there'll be links in the description of this video, or just search RussLyman. If you guys enjoyed that custom NES build, perhaps you'll enjoy this one right here. I have lots of DIYs on the channel, so I'm sure you'll find something that you like. So subscribe if you're not already. And as always, guys, I'm RussLyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit. I'll see you next episode.